The town's only streetlight wavered in the night breeze. Clara made her way along the muddy path, guided by the flickering light of her old cell phone. The wet dirt clung to her ankles, but she had no choice but to turn back. A mysterious invitation she found in the mailbox. Its words melted in the rain, offered one clear piece of information. Blackthorn Mansion, midnight. When she stopped in front of the mansion, this place that time had forgotten stared at Clara in eerie silence. The brass knocker on the door was covered in green rust. As she lifted the knocker, a child's laughter could be heard from inside. Clara was startled. This place had been abandoned years ago, or so it seemed. When the door opened of its own accord, the smell of lavender and mildew filled the room. When she glanced at the large mirror in the entrance hall, a figure appeared behind it. When she turned, there was no one there, but her reflection in the mirror seemed to have lost its eyes. An empty, pitch-black nothingness. As she walked into the living room, she saw 12 chairs around a long dining table. There was an overturned candle on each plate. On the first plate, there were dried bloodstains. "Welcome, Clara." The voice was coming from the attic. The stairs leading up were made of rotten wood. Every step echoed with the sound of cracking bones. She found a dusty chest in the attic. Inside were yellowed photographs and a diary. The first page of the diary. "Today, we are expecting the 13th guest. The father will finally join the family." There were 12 people in the photographs, all posing in the same pose. But their faces were vague, as if they had been erased by steam. As she returned downstairs, her eyes caught a spot on the wall that was opaque. When she touched it, the wall softened and drew Clara in. She found herself in a narrow corridor. The curtains woven from human hair hanging from the walls froze Clara's insides as they touched her skin. At the end of the corridor was an old bedstead with iron shackles attached to it. A diary full of scratches found under the bed read, "He chose me. We have the same blood, but I still resist." At that moment, Clara's wrist burned. The red marks on her arm formed a circle. As the clock struck midnight, the upside-down candles on the dining table began to light one by one. 12 faceless figures appeared on the chairs. The chair at the top was still empty. "Sit," they said simultaneously, in a whisper but commanding tone. Clara's legs moved against her will. When she sat down on the chair, the plates began to fill up of their own accord. Insects, soil, and a black, thick liquid. The oldest-looking figure held out a knife to Clara. "Share your blood. Join the family." Clara jumped up suddenly and went to the mirror in the living room. Her reflection was no longer herself. It was an old, exhausted woman. "I was like you," the woman said. "But I resisted them. They buried my body in the walls." She found a secret compartment behind the mirror. Inside, there was a skeleton and a shining gold necklace around its neck. When Clara put the necklace around her neck, the figures shrieked and backed away. This is hers, her inheritance. She went down to the basement of the mansion. A rotting corpse lay inside an iron cage. In her hand was a childhood photo of Clara. On the back was a text, "Clara, the 13th heir." The footsteps from the attic became faster. 12 figures were quickly descending the stairs. Clara put the necklace around the corpse's neck. "It's not me anymore, it's him!" she shouted. When she burst into the front door of the mansion, she heard laughter behind her. When she came out, the red mark on her arm had disappeared. It was almost morning when she got home, but there was a new envelope in the mailbox. "Thank you. He will replace you now." And she laughed. That night, a 13th shadow appeared in the windows of Blackthorn Mansion, and the townspeople began to hear children's laughter coming from Clara's house.